what type of things do they come up with? So do they involve video prospecting, LinkedIn, social media? Creatively, what do they come up with?
A lot of it is executing the plays that already exist in the market, like 15 touches or whatever touches you want to call on follow-up. I tend to believe, and I don't like a lot of that 100% digital approach. I will send only emails to you until you respond to me. I like to try different venues. Different venues may be, like you said, video messaging, telephoning people, this old invention that we forgot that people still have phones. And sometimes if you have a compelling topic of a conversation, they will pick up the phone. That involves in sales, there's a lot of work that you need to do in bulk, but there's also a lot of work that you can do with a targeted, or at least trying to target an audience. So one of the things that they come up with is, let's not work just in bulk. Let's try to understand what are our best fits, our low-hanging fruits, the sweet spots. And we identify that they identify their territory, the specific accounts or the specific sector. It may be, I don't know, banking or retail or whatever the sector may be. And now we're going to try to work ourselves in with our partners, marketing for instance, on a specific message that resonates with them. So that entails you doing a little bit of a research. I'll give you an example with the pandemic, right? Retail involves that in most cases that people go to stores. Now there's a pandemic, people are stuck at home. How do you do? Okay, you need to, whenever you're sending a message to companies in the retail business or companies that the way that they operate by business doesn't involve yet a digital channel, but it needs to, because now we're stuck at home. You need to send them a message that resonates with them and their business. Not just, hey, look at me, my company is good, my product is great, but here's how I will be able to help you facing this pandemic and still continue to develop your own business. If you have that speech and then you combine that with prospecting with your channel, with your marketing, yourself, with peers, then they come up with a lot of things to do. The latest one was one of my team members just said, hey, I just won this deal. I call the customer, because now they're building and they're implementing the platform. I called the customer and just to understand if everything was going okay, doing some post-selling. And I asked him, hey, are you happy with this? And he says, yes, I'm very happy. Thank you so much. Everything is okay. And he asked them, can you give me 3 references, people that you think need this and don't know about it? And guess what? You got the 3 names. And now when you're sending an email to this person, although it's cold still, you can say, hey, I talked with your colleague from this other company that just got Outsystems and start developing, and we're doing the post-selling and the implementation, blah, blah, blah. And he's pretty happy, and he told me that I should speak with you. Does it make sense? And you kind of do a quick pitch, try to have the person on the phone. A lot of this stuff is not necessarily completely new, but the way that you perfect it in order to get to the end result is something that I let them as much as I possibly can.
I wanted to pick up on what you just said, the way they perfect them. When you were talking about this approach, which I love, by the way, because to me, it means 2 things. It means that each member of your sales team needs to be very well versed on their understanding of who their client is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's such a fundamental, basic thing, right? Understanding what is going on in their markets to their clients, so not just an understanding of their prospect, their client, but their clients as well. And then number 2, how is it? What is your focus, your understanding of how it is that we serve those clients in a differentiated way? This is something that, to instill discipline, you can maybe incorporate competences that you develop with your teams or be within the actual DNA of your sales process. How do you do this? How do you make sure that they make this transition, that they focused on those things? And please let me know if I'm missing anything else in this.
No. To answer your question, at the beginning, I'm a hard ass. So pardon the expression. So what I tell them at the beginning is the following. So you're a new hire, you just arrived. Here's what I want you to do in the next 3 months. I want you to go to as many meetings as you can. and I count them. Bear in mind that I didn't say create opportunities or deals that do progress. I'm saying meetings. The reason why I'm saying meetings is to test two things. Obviously, they're bad in everything that they're going to convert, or bad. I mean, not bad, but I'm saying that they're not going to be, they still need a learning curve is still happening. So the only thing that they can control at this point is speed, right? So I say, I want you to have as many meetings as you possibly can. So if your colleague, a seasoned colleague of yours is making, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meetings a week, I want you to double that. I'm not talking about opportunities. I want to understand if you can do the level of meetings that you would require to do, because your conversion ratio is going to be much smaller than a seasoned person, because you don't know how to prospect, you don't know how to qualify, and you don't know how to pitch, you don't know how to do any of those things, or at least you don't know how to do them to the same level as a seasoned person. So that I'm testing two things. One, is this person able to do something that is very difficult, meaning how many meetings they can have a week, for instance? And then, so that's the first question. So do they have what it takes in order to do the quantity? Once they go through those 3 months and they show that they can do the quantity, what we try to do is then focus on the quality. So how many meetings do you have, and what's the pattern that you on your own are able to detect, and then I'll help as well, of why these are not converting? Is it because we are picking the wrong type of customer or prospect? Is it because we are asking the wrong questions? How many second meetings do we have? How many third meetings? How many do convert to opportunities? Why did they convert to opportunities? So once you start to have those conversations with this person after the 3 months, and now you start to focus on quality and not so much on quantity, you know that if they still lack the pipeline, you can always go back and continue the quantity. But now you're aiming towards quality on let's convert them better than we were doing before. But without the quantity, I don't know if they're able to do what they need to do. And secondly, I don't give them enough time to fail. And this is important.
Teach me something important in the next 3 minutes.
So one of the things that I typically focus with people is mindset, right? Everyone has this belief system that you think that it doesn't count for anything and you will do whatever you will do regardless. What I try to teach people at the beginning, and especially important in sales, is that your belief system needs to, so you have a belief system that you can do it. You need to first get into that belief system, but sometimes it's hard. The best way to get into that is to create the set of actions that will put you in the mood. We all know that story of if you're feeling down, you just smile all the time and then your body will start producing endorphins and you start to feel good because you're smiling all the time. So that's the premise. If you know what to do and you need to go through some place, have the set of actions to get to the result that you wanted to do instead of thinking the other way around, which is I need to focus, I need to sell today, I need to be inspiring, which sometimes happens, sometimes it doesn't. So have the actions that you need to have in order to get to that place, and you will get to that place.
That place is the result, right? That you're trying to.
Yes.
You have been a speaker, and a popular one at that, at SalesShaker. Tell us a little bit about your experience of SalesShaker. What is it that you like about it? What's the best value tips about SalesShaker?
What people need to realize is that the best way to learn is to get in front of the people that actually do it, and so you can ask. So you can deep dive into questions and probing questions around details that you might want to learn. You can also learn by reading books and all those things, but the best way that I found that helped me in my career was to have meaningful conversations with folks that I believe know a little bit more than I do with any topic. And that is what I believe that it brings to SalesShaker. A lot of the speakers that I've met, I end up going and doing a little bit of research on them and watching some videos or reading a book if they have one and kind of go, this is a new thing. I think that's the value, because a lot of people think, or they make the mistake of doing everything on their own, right? So I need to learn, I need to read, and gosh, I know that I've been that person in the past. There was a time in my life before kids that I would read 2-3 books a month, just because I was eager to learn. And what started to happen after a while was that you would read a book and you would realize that 50%, 60%, 70%, 80% of that book you already knew, but it was just written in a different way, which is good because you always get to know something. But the best way for me was to speak with people. And then if you see that they have something valuable to say, then go ahead, read their book. You can always learn a lot of stuff there because it's a little bit more structured, right?
In sales, we embrace above everything else, above success, we embrace rejection. Do you have any tips, whether it's for sales leaders like yourself or sales professionals, sales reps, anybody that's having to deal with rejection?
Get used to it.
How?
I mean, look, without being facetious, life is about rejection. You should be well-formed and well-versed after you leave your teenage years, because let's face it, everyone deals with a lot of rejection at that time. The thing is, one, get used to it. Again, the fail fast that we talked about at the beginning, that I say, hey, for the next 3 months, I want you to make as many calls as you can. I want them to start to develop a little bit of thick skin. People are not rejecting you because of you. They're rejecting you because of their circumstances. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right person. Maybe it's not the right product. Maybe it's not the thing that they're looking for, right? It has nothing to do with you, unless you're being obnoxious and then someone says something to you. But it hasn't to do with you. So just get that out of the way. To the same extent that this happens in life, right? It's not because you're in a hurry and you didn't say hello to the receptionist at the entry because you had to run to a meeting because you're late, that you don't like that this person should feel rejected. So just get over with it, get used to it, focus on the other aspect of your job, which is how do I maintain the relationships that I have and how I'll make them evolve. And then in the rejection, the only thing you can try to do is try to understand, is it something that is circumstantial that I can work with? Helga, I completely understand this is not the time. When would be the time? Call me in 6 months. Fine, call you in 6 months, right? Or there's not a fit. I typically do something whenever I'm presenting. I say to folks the following. So prospect, and I say, final presentation, let's say we're going through the numbers, the results of the demos and whatever. I tell them if at any point they see that there's no fit, they should tell me so I can walk away. Or when I say walk away, I'm really not going to walk away. I'm going to ask more questions. And then what I say back to them is that if I do feel the same thing, I will let you know. And they look at me a little bit mesmerized because they say, a salesperson is telling me that they will leave. And then I use it. So if a deal is not progressing the way that I think it should, because you and we determine next steps and you're missing all of the next steps, right? You said, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, we're going to have this, we're going to have that, this is the date. And none of that happens. Then I'll have a conversation with you saying, Elga, I don't think this is going the right direction because this happened and this happened. It feels to me that you are not really engaged at this right now, which is okay. So I'm stepping away. Now, one or two things happen. Either you confirm, said, yes, Hugo, you're absolutely right. This is not the good time for us. Goodbye. And you walk away. And then we can have this conversation in a few months later. Or you will say, no, Hugo, absolutely. I'm so sorry. I just had these things happen. This is still important to us. This is the value that we decided. I just didn't have dates. So now at the end of the day, whenever I do that, I know for a fact if this is worth pursuing, right? Or this is not something that I should pursue. Anyway, I gain certainty and I don't waste time. Because if we need to work on this in the next 6 months, then we'll work on this in the next 6 months.
Last thing, Hugo, a penguin walks into our conversation right now wearing a tutu and a sombrero. Why is the penguin here and what is he saying?
He's just trying to have a good time and learn some stuff.
I love that. Thank you so much indeed for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, especially about sales and selling best practices. You always get down to the nitty-gritty, the practicalities, and I'm sure our audience is going to really enjoy that. Thank you so much, Hugo, and until next time, ta-ra for now.
Thank you.